Valorant's newest agent, Fade, will require a lot of lineup knowledge, especially on maps such as Bind. And so to help you play Fade effectively, we've put together a compilation of the best lineups on Bind in Valorant. Enjoy! Let's start with the best attacking and post-plant lineups. The first lineup is for the A side, when you're watching from short. For this lineup, your haunt will look over the whole of A site, and it will land on a roof opposite A heaven. Just climb up onto the first brick wall. Aim where the wire and the mysterious long silhouette in the background almost touch. It doesn't have to be perfect, but try and get it close, so your crosshair is connecting them. This is what the haunt will look like when it lands. As you can see, it will spot enemies lurking in A lamps, A heaven, and the whole of the backside. This is very valuable, as it should be able to reveal the enemies before they can shoot it down. This is going to give you enough intel to know what enemies are defending what sites. Okay, next up it's for the A site again. This is a C's lineup, which is best used in combination with the previous haunt lineup. Imagine you've just thrown the haunt. If you throw C's just above this rooftop, it will pop just as the haunt does as well into A lamps. As you can see, your enemies will be tethered in A lamps, meaning peeking agents will be tethered, keeping your line of sight from your haunt. And if enemies decide to retreat from A lamps entirely, they'll be spotted by the haunt. Okay, now let's look at some B-side Fade lineups. This first one is for the haunt from B long. So get right in the corner on B long and line up your crosshair just above the second brick from the left on this wall. And as you run and jump forward, throw the haunt when your crosshair hits the top of the wall. If you've practiced enough, it should land just like this. The crosshair placement does not need to be perfect, but this is ideal. The haunt will be able to see the whole of B site, B elbow, and any enemies lurking in the corners left of B gardens and underneath B window. Okay, now let's try a B site from B short. You want to stand in the corner by these boxes next to the teleporter, meaning you and your team will need to be clear of B window and enemy agents peeking into B short. This is a similar style of haunt lineup to the previous one, but you cannot always push B long. Aim to the corner of the building in the distance and go directly up until your crosshair hits the wire. This is quite difficult to pull off, especially as you have to have your wits about you with the teleporter right next to you. When landing, it will end up on top of the building on the right hand side of B site, meaning it will be able to watch over enemies in B elbow. Now let's take a look at some defending lineups for Fade. We'll start with defending the A site. As you can see here, this first one allows us to see if any enemies are lurking behind the truck because it lands on the roof behind the truck. So run forward and jump shot the haunt like this. And you can try this from different positions, because since A site on Bind is quite enclosed by tall structures, you can throw the haunt into various places along the rooftop. We recommend getting a feel for how far you can throw the haunt in a practice game first, so that you can do it on the fly. Our next one is for the truck at A site. A lot of enemy agents plant behind the truck on the corner of the spike site. This allows them to safely defend from A cubby and A short. To stop them, aim your crosshair at the top left corner of this vent box and throw. The C's bomb will bounce off the wall and land with the truck directly in the middle of its radius. The tether will prevent enemies from planting, and if an enemy agent already is, it will completely stop them. Okay, now let's head over to the B site, and this first lineup is for Defender Spawn. This lineup is probably the safest on the list. It requires you to stand along this diagonal wall in Defender Spawn, roughly in the middle of the 4th and 5th vertical beams on the wall. This lineup is a running jump shot and will require a fair amount of practice, but it doesn't have to be exact every time. It is a lot harder than other lineups, but that is the price you pay for safety. You want to aim your crosshair at the right-hand edge of the dark grey building in the background, then go up until it reaches the bottom wire going across. You want to run forward, then jump and throw when the building you aimed at initially disappears from your view. The lineup will sometimes work if the building is only partially visible, but 100% of the time when it's not. The haunt lands in the same spot as the attacker B sight line up from B short and will look over B elbow, B sight and importantly B window. Be careful when throwing this line up as enemies will probably be watching down B hall, so you don't want to run and jump too far forward. Okay, our next one is for the B site and for B garden, but be warned, this lineup is one of the more complex ones as it will require you peeking before your haunt has popped. You want to stand by the box in the middle of B site and aim upward. Try and get your haunt to land on the building behind you. As it is in the air, activate the haunt as you peek B garden. This means that enemies will hopefully be trying to shoot your haunt you threw up. If an enemy crosshair is up in the sky and you peek them, you should be able to get a free kill. This is what the haunt should look like when it has landed. But with this lineup, you are not trying to scout people, it is more of a distraction to misplace enemy crosshairs, similar to Reyna's Leer. Okay gang, those were all the best lineups for Fade on Bind. Hopefully they've been helpful and let us know down in the comments if we've missed any. Until next time, have a great day, and if you've enjoyed the content, consider dropping us a like and subscribe.